From Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, 26th chapter, verses 25 and 26. I'm going to link up to Veda base now. Sahasra Shirasha Sakshat Yam Anantam Prachakshate Shankar Shanakhyam Purusham Bhutendriya Manomayam. So we have two verses because 25 doesn't have any purport, but the next one has synonyms. Sahasra Shirasam with 1,000 heads. Sakshat directly, yeah. Who? Anantam, Anantam. Prachakshate, they all. Sankarshana Akhyam, Sankarshana by name. Purusham, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Bhuta, the gross elements. Indriya, the senses. Manamayam, consisting of the mind. Translation, the threefold Ahankara, the source of the gross elements, the senses and the mind, is identical with them because it is their cause. It is known by the name of Sankarshana, who is directly Lord Ananta with 1,000 heads. Hare Krishna. We'll read the next shloka. Kartritvam karanatva cha karyatva cheti lakshanam shantagora vimuddhatvam iti vasyat ahankrite. Kartritvam karanatvam cha karyatvam cheti lakshanam shantagora vimuddhatvam iti vasyat ahankrite. Kartritvam karanatvam cha karyatvam cheti lakshanam shantagora vimuddhatvam iti vasyat ahankrite. Synonyms: Kartritvam being the doer, Karanatvam being the instrument, cha, and Karyatvam being the effect, cha, also, iti, thus, Lakshanam, characteristics, Shanta, serene, Ghora, active, Vimuddhatvam, being dull, iti, thus, va, or syat, maybe, ahankrite, of the false ego. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. This false ego is characterized as the doer, as an instrument, and as an effect. It is further characterized as serene, active, or dull, according to how it is influenced by the modes of goodness, passion, and ignorance. Purport. Ahankara, or false ego, is transformed into the demigods, the controlling directors of material affairs. As an instrument, the false ego is represented as different senses and sense organs, and as a result of the combination of demigods and the senses, material objects are produced. In the material world, we are producing many things. This is called advancement of civilization, but factually, the advancement of civilization is a manifestation of the false ego. By false ego, all material things are produced as objects of enjoyment. One has to see increasing artificial necessities in the form of material objects. One great Acharya, Narottama Das Thakur, has lamented that one, when deviates from pure consciousness of Vasudeva or Krishna consciousness, he becomes entangled in material activities. The exact word he uses are Satsanga chadi kainu sate vilasa te karane lagila ye karma bandha phansa. I have given up the pure status of consciousness because I wanted to enjoy in the temporary material manifestations. Therefore, I have been entangled in the network of actions and reactions. Hare Krishna. We'll chant the Mangala Charan prayer. If you know it, you could please unmute and chant alongside with me. Om Agnantimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं सहस्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्रीराधा कृष्ण पादा गणललिता हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरंग राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये पंचकल्पतरुभ्यश्च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो ओम विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश कारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे ओम विष्णुपदाय कृष्णाय भूतले श्रीमती राधानाथ स्वामी नाम Hare Krishna. So, dear devotees, today's shlokas, our learning focus is going to be what is ego and then what is the effect of the false ego. So, ego is of two types. It is the real, pure consciousness ego and the false ego, which is also known as ahankara. Hare Krishna. So, what is ego? Ego is, all of us, every living entity has this thing called ego. So what is ego? Ego is a sense of being, the awareness that I am, I exist, correct? So it is how I identify myself. मेरी जो पहचान है, correct? That sense is called ego. Now, it could be of two types as mentioned. It could be real or it could be the false ego. Now, the real ego is the proper understanding or what is called the pure consciousness. Consciousness, correct? Prabhupada has said, consciousness is the symptom of presence of soul in the body. So this body we know is matter. That's what we're studying in this analytical study, philosophy of Kapila Dev. It breaks down, correct, everything and how things are formed and how everything comes into being. So this pure consciousness, the soul, is Sat Chit Anand. So this Chit aspect of being aware, consciousness, when it is pure, okay, that understanding is I am the spirit soul. And soul we know is the part and parcel of this Krishna, correct? Infinitesimal part of the infinite whole, Krishna. So this being part, it is the natural position. The part is meant to serve the whole. Very easy to understand. These fingers are part of the hand. The hand is part of the body, right? And the hand is meant to serve the body, either when we are bathing, you're applying shampoo in your hair, or when we are eating prasadam, correct? It is serving the whole body. So that way, when the proper consciousness is there, our thoughts, words, and deeds are centered around service to Krishna and Krishna. Now, the other type of ego is called the false ego or a perverted consciousness, also known as conditioning or the material consciousness. In material consciousness, what happens is we have made use of we have misused rather, of free will. We have made misuse of that free will. And that's how I start identifying my very self, that is the spirit soul, with this gross and subtle body. Gross body is nothing but something that we can see, feel, touch, hear, smell, this, whatever is there. And the subtle body, is made up of the mind, intelligence, and ego. So once that misuse of free will is there, then this is where the ahankara is germinated, or that's where the ahankara comes into the picture. Okay, then it becomes I, me, myself, mine. So it is natural for the spirit soul to be thinking, okay, doing action. Soul is active, it isn't inert. Matter is inert. So soul is very active, it cannot remain inactive. So whatever is the thinking, whatever actions that it is performing is for the self, I, me, myself, mine, and extensions thereof. So Krishna is removed from the center, and I, me, myself, mine is now the whole and soul. Hare Krishna. So, what is false ego? Okay, false ego we'll understand in three categories. First is, what is the purpose? Why ahankara? Why does Krishna put us through this? Someone may ask a question. Why do we have ahankara? Okay, the purpose of ahankara is, it is kind of an covering, because the pure soul is spirit, and when it is trapped in this body, it is matter. It is an incompatible situation. Like oil and water. Oil and water can never mix. Impossible. It can't mix. So what is there is this ahankara, Hare Krishna. This ahankara is so that the soul can perceive whatever is around and enjoy, act on it. In absence of ahankara, wo tadpega, the soul. It is impossible. Okay, so it allows this conditioned soul, all of us, this Jivatma in the material world, to enjoy separately from Krishna. Correct? Of course, that is an illusion. There's no such thing as enjoyment, or there's no such thing as happiness, so to say. It's all temporary. In the fruit of happiness is always the seed of distress. It is just a matter of time before it starts fructifying. So, for example, when the child is born and you hold your child for the first time in your arms, what a wonderful feeling it is. Correct? Or the first time you become a father or mother, what a feeling it is. Now, the child starts growing up, so much love, care, attention. We take care of this child, and this child is growing up. How much joy the child brings. Now, once the child starts getting into middle school, high school, that's when all the anxieties and worries come. Oh, I hope he or she is in the right company. Will they be doing weed? Will they be having illicit relationships? There's that, so many things which come. Now, the same thing, which is the source of so much joy, is giving so much problem. Or take your new car, for example. The new car smells. So careful. If you go to the ShopRite or somewhere, you won't park close by, you'll park far away, or someone will dent. And then after a while, tuku 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 sound comes, and then it gives you anxiety. Oh, I'll have to go to. So this is what the situation is in the material world. There is no such thing as joy, and you can analyze. We all experience it. Whatever gives us joy for a moment, afterwards, it starts a source of misery and anxiety. So this is what ahankara does. It's like a veil. It covers this pure consciousness of ours. And that's how, through that via medium of the ahankar, we start reciprocating with the material world, engaging with it. And, karma and vikarma is what we get trapped in. So here's what my Guru Maharaj Radhanath Swami says. Ego identifies with the whole phenomenon of intelligence, mind, and the body, and thinks all that is me. So this is what false ego is. We actually start thinking this is me. So you get up in the morning, you brush your teeth, you're looking in the mirror, you say, this is me. How fascinated we are with mirror. You just see, it's almost instinctive. If you're walking by in the store, there is a mirror, we'll check ourselves out, how I look. We know how we look, but still we check ourselves out. Why? We are looking at it, this is me, this is me. So this is what happens. The body thinks that it is, we start identifying with the gross and subtle body. So where does this ahankar come from? We know that the purpose, this is the purpose of ahankar. Where does ahankar come from? It comes from Lord Ananta, Shesha, Balaram, correct? So it is, I am the enjoyer. This is what the conditioned soul thinks. The world exists only for my pleasure. Misuse of the free will. Why should Krishna be the enjoyer? I should be the enjoyer. ठीक है. In a natural state, it is impossible because Jivara Swarupo hai Krishnera Nityadas. How can it enjoy separately from Krishna? Fine, there is this veil which comes over here. Okay, Krishna says, you want to enjoy separately? Try it out. So this material world comes into existence. So this is how Sankarshan has that task of Lord Shankarshan to inspire us with these ideas. Okay? And then the conditioned soul imagines himself to be the Supreme Lord. All of us have that little independence, and with that little independence, we think that we are Ishvara. All of us want to be in control. Whatever, we want to control a spouse, we want to control our children, we want to control everyone. We want to exert dominance over everybody. We are the part is trying to be the whole, the controller. And this is how Shankarshan, that ahankara he's the one who triggers it. Hare Krishna. So how this ahankar comes into being, right? There are three types of energies. We know that guna, right? Goodness, passion, and ignorance. So from here, everything else comes, the mind, all our, sense organs that we have, organs of action, the 5 material elements. Now, this ahankara, the goodness, passion, and ignorance, yeah, okay, it comes as either the agent, the catalyst, the instrument of activity, and also its result. Now, here's a very important point. We all think ourselves as the doer. No, we are not the doer. Doer is happening with, something beyond our control. Now, the source of gross elements, feelings, and mind, it is not different from the ahankar because it is the cause. So they're identical. Okay. Now, depending on where that ahankar, which mode it is under, it could either be peaceful if it's goodness, if it's rajas, guna, it will be active, and then it could be, jad, lethargic, in the mode of passion. Hare Krishna. What is the effect of the false ego? So here are a few collections from the Shastras. It says that we think we are the doer of the activity as mentioned previously, but which is actually by these gunas, it is being performed. So, an instruction from this we can get is that, let's say, for example, there is a lot of success that we get. So whenever this success happens, let us not think it is because of my doing. There are other forces at play. We should be cognizant. And when we are cognizant of that, when we are aware of that, that brings about a level of humility. And of course, humility is a force which helps us, it propels us to get closer and closer to Krishna. Now, the true peace, Bhagavad Gita 271, is attained who has completely outlived the desire, doesn't consider, see this proprietorship of anything. We had mentioned earlier, the soul starts thinking he's a little Ishwar. What is Ishwar? Controller, proprietor, and enjoyer. Same thing is happening in our lives also. We are controller. We think we are the proprietor of whatever, we have, and we are enjoying. You ask someone, kaise hai boss? Boss, enjoy, enjoy, enjoy. That's what it is. Enjoy is basically, the material enjoyment is a euphemism for suffering. Literally. Hare Krishna. Okay. Identifies and then becomes trapped by Maya. Maya, we all know, is that which it is not. So when we are covered, this veil is covered over here, okay, we are in illusion. What is illusion? Illusion is accepting what is lies to be true and whatever is true to be lies. And this comes in, let's say, when we have doubts, correct? Or let's take this example of the scriptures. Scriptures is the word of God. Okay, it is the absolute truth, not relative truth. It is the absolute truth. But generations of our generations, father, grandfather, great grandfather, all the way, we've been taught and we have accepted that scriptures are mythology. Now, this came because of a political reason. The Britishers invaded India. They were ruling over India. Now, India is a country, a landmass with, you could say, many countries in one little landmass, which is there. So the east, west, north, south, completely different cuisine, culture, languages, traditions, everything different. But the common thread which was binding that unity and diversity was the faith. Sanatan Dharma was joining everything together. British had the policy of divide and rule, correct? So what they did is break the backbone. So whatever was bringing people together, to say, destroy kar do. And they said, this is all mythology. But they say, oh, have you seen, worshipping monkeys, which is Lord Hanuman? Oh, this is like that, he's carrying a mountain. Have you ever seen this? However, if you look at the testaments, the Old Testament, okay, and if you see even the New Testament, Lord Jesus, his appearance is coming in a few weeks. Lord Jesus walked on water. How is it possible? But that is okay. They have talking donkeys, talking snakes in the testaments, in the scriptures. So that is okay. But on this side, and then we started accepting it, something which is unreal, we accepted as real. And whenever there is scriptures presented to us, we are full of doubts. Well, of course, doubts is good. Questions is a symptom of intelligence, Prabhupada says. Questions, intelligence in the mood of learning and not in the mood of challenging. The moment we start challenging it, shuts the door of learning, right? So this is what it does. Maya, all of us are in this illusion. But when we realize, self-realization aa jata hai, ki this is not who I am, aham brahmasmi, okay, that's when I get this Atma Darshanam. I actually understand who I am, and then I start behaving the way I'm meant to behave. Okay. This is also an important one. जो भी करते वो फल मेरा हक है. So Krishna says, you are entitled to your work, duty karo, not the fruits of that result. But what we get fruits of the result, whatever we do, hamara kasrat karke, hard work, whatever we do, maybe in form of Lakshmi or fame or whatever it may be. And then we start hoarding it up. All of us have more than what we need. And you can see this in, nowadays there is this thing called, kya hai? Not just the storage which you have. You have these storage places, right? So much things we accumulate. Garage becomes a storehouse, basement becomes a storehouse. Fir bhi, we keep consume, and then you need to go and move it all into another place where they can hold it safely for you. Then they also bring these little things in your driveway, pod, kuch to, whatever, you know what I'm talking about. That's what it is. Fruits of my labor, ye mera hai. I have to enjoy, I have to enjoy, I have to enjoy. That's what it is, that greed, lobha, never ends, never ending. Hare Krishna. Okay. Hankering. False ego aa jata hai. We're always hankering for more and more. And hankering is because, kya hota hai is we do not, we're not satisfied, temporary joy. Then jump to the next thing, flickering. Here also, pride born of education, wealth, austerities comes from false ego. Tomorrow is Ekadashi, and then, I did Nirjal. I do Nirjal Ekadashi. I do 32 rounds on Ekadashi. We'll go around, Dandora pitayenge, sabko pata chalna chahiye. And then they say, oh, Prabhuji, what a great devotee, so austere. So this particular syndrome, my Guru Maharaj Radhanath Swami says that better to feed your belly than to feed your ego. So there's a purpose of Ekadashi, why you do the austerity. But if it is just being used as a tool to, sit on a pedestal, better you eat and feed the belly. Hare Krishna. So Prabhus, Matajis, thank you very much for your attention. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Any questions, any comment, we can put it in the Nityam Bhagavatam Sevaya group. Hare Krishna. It is 5:58. 2 minutes. If someone has a comment, you could please mute yourself. Otherwise, Madhupati Prabhu, over to you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji Dandvat. Thank you so much for the class. Can you please explain the role of Sankarshan in Nityam Bhagavatam? I didn't really quite get that, what you said about Sankarshan.
Okay.
The role. You can explain it later. It doesn't have to be done now.
Okay, Mataji.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
On the Nityam Bhagavata group. Madhupati Prabhu. Very good. So, devotees, I'll take leave of you. Panchakalpatarubhyascha
Vaishnavibhyo Namo.
Hare Krishna.
की जय, श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय।
Jai. Jai.
Jai Prabhu.
Thank you, Amritanda Prabhuji. Thank you.